and not what you think. Starting today, you create. My name is Priyanka Rao. I am a professional mind coach and now a purpose friend. Good afternoon to everyone who's joined me this week number 2, and welcome to all of those who joined me last week. I'm so pleased that you joined me again this week, and we're going to be taking the entire 6-week project one step ahead in terms of how you can build a mindset that is immune to stress, that is immune to anxiety, immune to crisis, and that can actually work for you even in pandemic times like ours. So I'm very, very happy to also welcome the entire audience. Anybody new has joined us today. So I'm so glad you joined us, and I hope you stay with us for the entire 6 weeks because it's going to be a very interesting journey for you. So I'm Priyanka Rao. I'm the apple of my parents' eye, roommate to a 50-kilo Rottweiler, looking for my space under the sun, but found my life's purpose. I'm a nerdy bookworm, turned luxury hotelier, turned internationally certified image consultant, turned e-commerce startup founder, and now a professional mind coach. For those who joined me for the very first time, I'm a certified practitioner in neuro-linguistic programming, in emotional freedom technique, in deep hearing, and I'm also internationally certified image consultant and an alumni of London Image Institute. Only in the past 1 year, I've worked with clients across 17 cities in India and 3 countries and clocked in a little over 500 personal one-on-one coaching hours. So I have an absolute privy into what is happening into the mindset of people in today's times. My job as a coach is to make you live without dependency emotionally and mentally. You any in your life only without depending on an external intervention or an external coach. And I really hope that for many of you in this 6 weeks. All right, so I've had privilege of with so I've had the privilege of also working with this day, and I hope it will add as much value. When I actually logged off. To be aware, we've had a cyclone in Goa, and our internet connections have not been restored last Sunday. So I'm working on a geo dongle, and sometimes it acts against me. So if I do log off, I will come back in because I'm right now working on borrowed internet connection. So here's a recap of week number 1 that we actually worked with. How did you join me last week? Can you type in me in the chat window so that I know how many of you were with me last week, and then I know exactly if anybody are new. How many of you were joining me last week? Just type in me in the chat window so that I know that you were with me last week. I know there are a couple of you already joined, so I'm waiting for you. Great to have you, Shruti, back. I can see some others as well. How many joined me last week? I can see Harshit who joined me last week. I can see Dr. Samira as well, and a couple of others. So I'm going to move on. This is just a recap for all of those who joined me last week. But for those who are new, this will allow you to also be aligned to what we did. I also shared a video replay of what we did last week. So in case you're new and you would like to have a video replay, send me an email and we will have that sent across to you. All right, so that option is available for everybody. So week number 1, we understood that you create your life as you go, including your fears. We learned that you attract what you fear, not what you think. And that you've got a very powerful sponsoring thought. We learned what that is, and we learned 6 steps to start working in that direction. You learned that your external environment is a reflection of your inner environment. And we discovered that your sponsoring thought is attracting what you are attracting in your life, including your fears. Not what you think, what you believe, and what you fear. These were some of the sponsoring thoughts we discussed last week: anxiety and stress, we feeling stuck and lost, the top 4 COVID mindsets right now. Overthinking, fears. These were the sponsoring thoughts we discovered. And we also discovered that you were never born like this. None of us were born with fearful. None of us were born an overthinker. None of us were born stressed. So you actually can release and reprogram it. I also told you that your mind does not know the difference between real and imaginary. So if we start feeding the mind new empowering belief systems, it can actually shift. So I taught you how to pour into your cup of life, and how release of what you're feeling is also important. So whatever I learned, taught you, the 6 steps was in the pour. Today, I'm going to share additional steps on how you can start pouring. And then next week, we're actually going to start releasing. So definitely do log in next week as well. The step number 1 was your goal card. At the back of the card, you wrote all of the statements. I told you you're supposed to read this card when your subconscious mind is active. So as soon as you wake up, the first 10 minutes, just before you go to bed, the last 10 minutes, in yoga and pranayam, in meditation, in prayer time, so you have put all these statements at the back of the goal card, and you're reading this goal card every day. Mental command to start building a fearless mindset, and you're also giving yourself this command wherever your subconscious mind is active. I also shared a third mental command with you, which is I have phenomenal coping skills. When you start feeding your subconscious mind with this command, I have phenomenal coping skills, I have phenomenal coping skills. Remember, your subconscious mind learns through repetition, and it picks up this command, and over time, it starts believing it and gives you fabulous coping skills. And the third step, every day, is this goal that you've written. So it could be writing a book. Every day, write a page. Be say the best at your profession. Every day, study one small thing that is going to take you towards being there. If it is losing weight, every day do one thing towards losing weight. So we're doing one thing every day towards that particular goal. I mentioned how you can put post-it notes of the goals everywhere so that you are constantly reminding your subconscious mind of it. Remember, the mind is a very powerful tool. The more it reads, the more it learns, the more it starts believing and creating it. I showed you how step number 5, with this app called Canva, and change your phone to your goal. You could even change it to I'm fearless and start building that mindset. And finally, I told you step number 6 was please pay it forward. Please go ahead and teach one person in network these 6 steps, so even they start growing with you. All right. So saying that, today, wherever awareness flows, energy grows. Whatever you're thinking about all day, that is growing. That's what Ralph Emerson, the most famous philosopher, said. You think about all day. So we're going to now shift from the whole course and all your stress and worries to what you actually want to achieve. All right. So if you're with me, type in with me in the chat window so that I know you have your book and pen. I know you're ready and I can begin. Please type in with me in the chat window so that I can start right away. I'm going to wait till I get responses and then I'm going to begin. So please do type in the panelists and attendees, you're with me so that I can actually start. I know there are quite a few online, but none of you are chatting with me. I'm getting very lonely here. Please chat with me. All right, Dr. Samira, Ramya, Great. Thank you very much. Shruti, Pooja, great to have you, Pooja. Wonderful. All right. Okay. Thank you. So today we're going to learn the tribal programming. Hi, Joey. Nice to see you too. We'll learn the tribal programming of our mind. Why does our mind think comes from our caveman age, that far out? Yes. You're going to learn how you can direct your awareness to where you want it to go. And I'm going to this week give you 5 additional steps to help you further advance yourself in the 6 weeks. All right. So here's the truth number 1. Listen, you are not your mind. Just a tool. Your hand without your permission, up and down. I cannot. Does your mouth? I don't think so. But you can't work without your permission. Does your mind work without your permission? And I would gather that most of your answers would be yes. Now the hand, the mouth, and the mind, only tools. One is a limb, one is a muscle, and the third is an organ. But 2 of them are strong, the third one is which is why the mind. If the mind runs, they run. If the mind changes direction, they go. Excuse me, and I hope it stays through. So wherever the mind goes, you go. You chase your thoughts, you chase your words, you chase whatever you're thinking about. But you are not your mind. Now, how many of you are overthinkers? How many of you think overanalyze? How many of you think how many of you are a slave to your thoughts? Here are 2 symptoms of overthinking. The first one is waiting. You're always waiting for a future goalpost to feel happy, feel good. When I buy my own car, I will be successful. Till then, I'm not. My own house, I will. Okay, thank you guys for being patient with me. I'm trying to move the dongle as much as I can to give it a proper network area, but I just hope it stays through. So waiting is a state of mind. You attach your well-being to a future goalpost. It could be, when I make 2 lakhs a month, I'm going to be financially free. Till then, I'm not financially free. When I go into my own house, I buy my own house, I will feel successful. Till then, I'm not successful. When I find love, I will be complete. Till then, I'm not complete. But waiting is a state of mind. When you achieve it, you will raise the goalpost. When you get your house, when I pay my house loan, I'll be financially free. When get 2.5 lakhs a month, when I build it to 5 lakhs, that time I will feel great. Till then, I'm still not there. When you find love, when I actually am happy in my marriage or happy in my relationship, I will feel complete. Waiting is a state of mind and one of the biggest symptoms of overthinking. Second one is what if? What if, like in current COVID times, what if I fall sick? What if my parents fall sick? What if I need oxygen? What if there is no bed? What if I'm struggling for a hospital treatment? What if something goes wrong? And you create these future what if scenarios in your mind. They keep running and they create overthinking in you. Does this sound familiar? How many of you are familiar with these symptoms? Please type in familiar in the chat window so that I know you're able to relate to this and you're able to understand this. How many of you are familiar with waiting and with what if? Great. Thank you, Shruti, Ramya, and Jolene. And great. So, why does our mind think so negative? Thank you, Suvi. Good to see you back. Why is our mind negative? Here's why. It comes from our tribal roots. Your mind is wired to be negative by default. By default, it is negative because when we were tribe men and women living in tribes in the prehistoric age. At that point in time, the mind had just one goal: survival. I have to ensure that Priyanka survives. So it would do whatever it takes to make me survive. So it was always looking for danger, threat. Is there a lion behind the bush? Is there a storm coming up? Is there an enemy tribe around the corner? What if I don't find food? I better look for food. I won't be able to feed my family back in the cave. The mind was always negative because all it had to do was make you survive and live that day. So the mind is very safe with familiar. But as soon as something becomes unfamiliar, it thinks it's a danger and starts thinking negative. This is why the lockdown has created such mental health issues, because lockdown is not familiar. Sitting at home is not familiar. Not meeting your friends is not familiar. Not going to work is not familiar. Not going to parties is not familiar. And the mind says, oh my God, what is happening? This is not familiar. Let me protect Priyanka. And it goes negative. It is not familiar with COVID. It is not familiar with this pandemic. So it gives you every reason to think negative about pandemic because it thinks it is trying to protect you. Don't take the mind seriously. It is only trying to protect you. All you have to do is make the unfamiliar familiar. So example in point, for most of us, Zoom was not familiar 1 year back. We were hardly online. I know I first one did refuse to do online sessions as a coach. Today, I do 3 sessions a day. It's become so familiar that now I don't want to do in-person sessions. I'm so comfortable with the online. Some of you would have found the first lockdown very, very tiresome, and it was weighing very heavily on your mind. But this lockdown was easier because it became familiar. So stop taking the mind seriously when it is making you feel negative. It is only trying to protect you. Make it familiar. Make lockdown familiar. Make the pandemic familiar. Make vaccines familiar. And the mind will slowly become okay with and say, okay, I don't need to protect Priyanka. She's fine. It's familiar. Now, here's how you can bypass this negativity bias of the mind. This is very, very interesting to stay with me here. Did you know your mind absorbs 11 million pieces of information per second? It's mind boggling. 10 million is what you see, and the rest is what you touch, smell, taste, and hear. It's too overwhelming for the conscious mind. The conscious mind is going to blow up. So it compresses the 11 million to 40 bits. So what will it do? It will first look for threat, negative, danger, because that's what it's wired to do, to compress it. Is there any threat here? Is there any danger here? Is there something negative here? Is something unfamiliar here? Let me first look out for that. But here's how you can now bypass it. And this is where the pour comes into place. After it is done looking for negative, guess what it looks for next? Anything remotely connected to your needs, your wants, your wishes, your desires, your goals, whatever you have told it you want. Now think of that goal card you have made last week. If you have been reading it every morning and night, the mind is already starting looking for it. You might already see changes in your thought process. You have done this on a daily basis. The mind is looking for that goal. The mind is looking for how can I achieve that goal? What do I need to do to make that goal? What resources do I need? Who do I need to call? This is called thought pattern recognition. The mind creates a pattern of thoughts to go to that goal. The mind does it automatically, ladies and gentlemen. So use the mind and make it work for you. So that goal card that you have made, and if some of you are new and have not attended my week 1 and you have not got the replay on your email address, please send me an email and you will get the replay from us. I'm typing my email in the chat window. Start telling the mind what you need and want, it will start looking for it. Now remember, for those of you who said you overthink, for every one positive thought, by default, your mind thinks 6 to 7 negative thoughts. It is default. If you overthink, 6, 7 becomes 16, 17. If you're not an overthinker, you're able to compress the 6, 7 and stick to that positive thought. So, what we're doing here is we're trying to train your mind to drop those 6, 7 and stay on the one positive thought. Drop the 6, 7, stay on that one positive thought. And I will show you how that happens. All right. So, this is how you're going to make the mind start looking for that positive thought or sticking to that positive thought and removing the negative thoughts. I'm just going to stop share and I'm going to go into the whiteboard and I'm going to show you how this works. So our mind is dual. There is duality of the mind. And I'm going to show you how you can now shift your awareness using this. So here's your conscious mind. We did this last week. Here's your subconscious mind, and here is your entire life. So your conscious mind is 10%. We already established that. Your subconscious mind is a whopping 90%. This is what is creating everything. And here are all the events and experiences in your life. Your conscious mind, ladies and gentlemen, is the boss. The boss gives instructions to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind, which is your creative medium, it is creating through the law of attraction and the law of belief, is creating everything in your life based on these instructions. So let's now connect to what I taught you last week. Over here, what have you been feeding your conscious mind? Your goal card, all the belief statements I taught you. You have also been using your post-it notes. You've also been using your wallpaper. So throughout the week, you've been feeding your subconscious mind with your goal. I am fearless. I have phenomenal coping skills, and all those commands I taught you. This is how it's working. This mind learns through repetition. This subconscious mind learns through repetition. So you're going on feeding it every day when your subconscious mind is active, and it is slowly going to start creating here. So we are essentially changing your external environment based on the commands here. You've already started the process. We're only going to take it ahead. All right. Are you with me till here? Are you able to understand what I'm saying here? I've made it as simple for you to understand. So please tell me if you're with me and you're able to understand me. Thank you, Dr. Jolie. What about the others? Thank you, Sundaram. Great to see you back. I believe you had joined me last week too. Thank you, Pooja. Okay, so all of you guys have been responding to me on the panelists. Please respond on panelists and attendees so that everybody on the audience can also see your responses. Okay, great. So I see that all of you are with me. Thank you, Chaitanya. So we're now only going to shift even more of the awareness. Wherever awareness flows, energy grows. So we're going to keep increasing this so this starts increasing. All right, so keeping this in mind, let me now give you your steps ahead for this week. Remember, your mind does what it thinks you want it to do. You're not a slave to your mind. You are the master of the mind. It's just a tool. So start telling it what you want it to do. Remember, it looks for what you need, want, desire, and wish. So start telling it what you need, want, wish, and desire. Okay, so here are the 5 steps of this week. I hope you have your pens and papers ready. Please maintain one book and diary for the entire 6 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, because a lot of what I share with you will stay with you all your life. Step number 1, I want you to make a list of whatever you think about all day. Make a list of whatever you think about all day. It could be Netflix, it could be your professional goals, it could be making money, it could be losing weight, it could be, a friend, it could be COVID, it could be black fungus, it could be anxiety, it could be worry. I had a client of mine who used to wash her hands 30 times a day, but that's all she used to think about because she was so anxious about COVID. Write down whatever you think about all day. So don't just take today as an example, take the past week, so to say, as an example. What have you thought about all day? Make an entire list. Okay. Next step, on your list, put a star against those which are aligned with the goals that you put in your goal card. Put a star against those that are aligned with the goals that you put in a goal card. And if you have no stars in your list, red flag. Obviously, you're not thinking of your goal. You're thinking of everything else except the goal. No wonder you're not a step closer towards your goal. And that will allow you to realign yourself. In addition, notice what is negative in your list. Notice what is negative in your list. It could be a fear. It could be overthinking. It could be a limiting thought. It could be a negative emotion. It could be a past memory that is still troubling you. It could be heartache. It could be a breakup. It could be, money issues. Whatever it is, make a note of it. So I don't want you to put a star against it, but just kind of underline and keep it. I will tell you what to do with these negative thoughts next week. I will be teaching you how to release it. Okay, so keep it at hand. Step number 3 is a beautiful command for these negative thoughts that keep coming in mind. So the first is drop the coal. I love this command. A lot of my clients use this, and this is how it actually works. Imagine if I put a hot burning coal in your hand. What will you do? You'll drop it, right? Do you have to tell your hand, please drop the coal? No, it will do it by default. It will do it instinctively. You don't have to tell it. Similarly, if a negative, damaging thought comes to your mind, you should be able to drop it too instinctively. And you can train the mind to do this. Now remember, we are using the mind's database for this. In the database of all of our minds, coal is threat, danger. Oh my God, are you burning? Are you hurt? Is the coal on your hand? Is it going to threaten your life? Remember, the mind is designed to make you survive. So as soon as you say, Priyanka, drop the coal, the mind goes in alert mode. Oh my God, is there a coal in Priyanka's hand? It goes all blank and it drops the thoughts. It goes completely blank and it drops the negative thought. You come into the present moment and you continue what you're doing. We are accessing the mind's database here to make it work for us. So the command you'll use when you get a fear, a negative thought, a limiting thought, Priyanka, drop the coal. The mind goes blank. Try it out. You can even do the action. Drop the coal. And the mind will go blank. Tons of my clients who have come to me for overthinking have used this command and have worked on it. So for anything that is negative on your list, if it comes back in this week, use this command. I will anyway show you how to release it next week. So step number 1, you made a list of all the things you think about. Step number 2, you put a star against what is aligned to your goal. If you don't have any stars, red flag, start thinking about it. Step number 3 is you're going to drop the coal on anything that is negative on your list. Step number 4, again, I'm reiterating, do one thing every day towards the goal on your card. This you're going to maintain consistently. If writing a book is your goal, write 200 words a day. If losing weight is a goal, walk for 10 minutes. If achieving 2.5 lakhs a month as a source of income is your goal, you will do one thing every day that is taking you closer towards achieving that financial goal. One thing every day towards this goal. We're going to keep maintaining that. And step number 5 is what I told you even last week, pay it forward. All these steps, call one friend, one relative, one person you know who's in quarantine or who's a COVID survivor, or is right now very, very upset with the current conditions, and show them these 5 forwards. You can even share with them the video of what I've shared, which are going to come to you on email. So 5 steps this week. Please continue it. So you have the 6 steps of last week, you have the steps of this week, and you're going to slowly start changing the mindset. For some of you, you will already start seeing a shift in your mindset. You will already start feeling motivated, inspired, positive, optimistic, something to look forward to, something to work towards. So start changing your reality. Remember, you were not born with these challenges. You don't have to live with them. Start claiming your power and start releasing it. So in the next 42 days, we're going to slowly start moving towards your goal and start releasing what is preventing you from going there. What do you expect week number 3? Please use the same link. You're going to get it on an email anyways. So next week, I'm going to show you how to start releasing what is negative in your list, right? So we're going to work on the release. I've showed you how to pour for the past 2 weeks. And next week, I'm going to show you how to release. I'm just going to move to this poster. You're going to learn certain coping mechanisms to fight COVID anxiety. Okay, what you resist persists. What you see disappears. I'm going to make you start seeing your fears, seeing your negative emotions, seeing your painful memories, seeing your limitations, and you will start seeing them disappearing. It's amazing. So next week, we're going to start releasing. And if any of you would like a copy of the first replay, week number 1, you have not got it, email us on mindcoaching@Priyanka Rao and you will get it. If you're not following us on Instagram and Facebook, Mind Coach Priyanka Rao, we share mindset hacks and tips on an almost daily basis. So there's a lot of information there since December. So it's almost 5-6 months of information out there for each of you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me today. That's a wrap for week number 2. Please start all these exercises, and I'm going to stay online for 5 minutes. If any of you want to give me feedback on the last week, or you have any questions on last week or these steps, please feel free to ask me. You can put in the Q&A box, you can put in the chat window, and I'm going to keep myself open for 5 minutes and to answer your questions. And I really would love to hear feedback on your progress. Remember, I'm a coach. I'm here for you. The more you feed me, the more I can help you. So let me help you. All right? Stay safe. If you're not vaccinated, please get vaccinated. And I'm going to open this forum now to questions. You can use the Q&A box or you can use the chat window. Either one are open. All right, so no questions. In case you don't want to ask me any questions on this public forum, feel free to write into me at Mind Coaching Priyanka Rao. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. I will see you next Saturday, sharp at 3. And it's going to be a very, very important session because I'm going to teach you how to start releasing. All right. Thank you, Sundaramji. Thank you very much for your kind note. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the session. Thank you, Dr. Jolie. Thank you, Shruti. See you next week again. Thank you, Femina. I think this was your first session, and I hope you can join us next week too. Thank you, Harshit. Good to see you back. Thank you, Mehul. Thank you, Pooja. And Pooja, you didn't join us last week, so I will have the replay of last week sent to you, Pooja. Okay, Femina, you did your husband last email ID. Great. Thank you, Chaitanya. I look forward to seeing you next week too. Thank you, Pushpesh. Pushpesh, were you there last week? I don't recollect seeing you. If you were not there last week, please send me an email. We'll send you the replay of last week.